Hello everyone, and welcome to chapter 119 of The Last Thoughts of a Busy Mind. This one titled Nature Boy. Of course, being named after the Nat King Cole song. I love that song. You will hear a lot of noise here today, and that is because we are nothing if not adventurous on this show, so I'm recording this public public as in there are people sleeping here. I am not in my room right now. This is not the first show I've recorded outside of my room. To be honest, you've heard a few ones I recorded in Dubai, but those were all in a hotel room. This one I'm recording in public, as in all of my friends are probably gonna be watching me. That's okay. This is not the first time I've done that either, but this is the first time I've done both. As I said, I'm not in my room, I am traveling and it's been fun. My drink today is a non alcoholic malt beverage, peach flavored. Sorry about the noise, the door is very creaky here. Great, tastes great. So that is my drink. As I said, I'm traveling. Now, this traveling plans have been kind of sudden. I have a few friends, they were wanting to go to north northern Iran, and I decided to tag along, and it's been quite good. We arrived here a couple of days ago. The place belongs to one of my friends, and so yeah, it's been fun. Honestly, I know I keep saying that. I'm not saying it out of obligation because they are here. It's been fun. Last week, if you recall, hasn't been fun. And this week was a good recovery. And in general, as I said, the reason I'm calling this Nature Boy is because the main theme I want to talk about here is nature versus the city. The reason people come to Northern Iran is nature. There are jungles here, there is the Caspian Sea, and in general, it's just full of nature, full of greenery and shit like that, like animals and stuff. I woke up today, as I had been yesterday, by a fucking rooster. And let me tell you, those motherfuckers are fucking loud. So, how to feel in 20 minutes? I am feeling a little bit shy, I'm not gonna lie. But, um, so, nature versus the city has been the general idea of this whole travel, and to be honest, most of my travel. I am not that good at traveling. I am a city mouse. More than that, I'm a reclusive city mouse. I think I've talked about this before. I spend all of my time in my room. Very rarely I go out unless like there is something to do. Like I don't like going around and like walking in nature because in general I need a destination. I can't walk around and like see the sights. I need to know where I'm going, why I'm going there, why am I going to be meeting, what is going to happen, and what is the reason I am finally leaving my room. So because of that, God fucking damn it, that door is creaky. But the reason I'm saying all of this is as I said, people come to Northern Iran for nature, and that has been the case. Again, as I'm looking out the window here, out of that fucking creaking door, I see lots of greenery, and I don't care. Honestly, I don't. Um, Nature for me is I'm not against nature, like I'm not anti-nature. Nature is pretty good, pretty to look at, and will look great on camera. I just don't like experiencing it for myself. Out of the many biomes that Iran has to offer that I've been to, I can tell you that I'm not a big fan of jungles. I don't really care about jungles. I'm not a big fan of the sea. It's sandy and I hate sand. It's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere. And also, aside from that, beside the sea, like the beach is incredibly hot and the sun is there is incredibly harsh. And I am not a fan of either of those. Hot weather really does bother me. Thankfully, the few days we've been here hasn't been hot. Like there has been rain, there lots of wind. It's been good. On the other hand, where it has been hot, it's been fucking humid and hot. And to those of you who have no idea, humid and hot are the worst combination of words you can put together. Like, I've talked about this before, I think, when I was in Dubai, but like, Dubai is incredibly humid and hot. But here, when it's been hot, it's been humid. Because when you're humid, you can't sweat properly, and just the hotness stays in you, and it drives you fucking mad. So, as I said, not a big fan of just in general walking around in nature. And that makes me not a very good traveling companion. Like yesterday, my friends went to the beach. I didn't. I just stayed in, and like I know that makes me sound like a nightmare travel companion, and I am. Aside from that, I have a bad eating habit. Like I don't eat most things. Not a big fan of most vegetables. Not a big fan of most kinds of meat. Not a big fan of how most kind of meat are prepared. So that makes me holy shit that door. That fucking door. So what I was talking about. Yeah, that makes me kind of a travel nightmare. I do have other good qualities, but we'll get to that hopefully. The thing is that I am not a big fan of walking around in nature. Like as I said, not a big fan of jungle, not a big fan of beach. I am partial to mountains. I like mountainside because it's mostly cool, and a lot of good cities tend to be there. I will get to the city part in a bit, and I was born in the desert. I was born in Esfahan, which is basically the desert. I have no particular feelings about that. I don't like it. It's hot and sandy, but I love westerns, and so the desert always has a place in my heart, even though I fucking hate it. I'd rather be stuck in the jungle than stuck in the desert, because at the very least you'll have food. Uh, Jesus, that was the most brain dead take. But anyways, as I said, I have been sleep deprived for the past couple of days because when you're out with friends, and this is not a bad thing. This is not one of those. Oh, I was nervous, I was anxious, so I stayed up. No, no, no. This is not one of those things. The reason I stayed up is I'm out with friends. We played a ton of games. We played Risk. We played a ton and tons of Mafia and Railroads. So it's been fun. It's been incredibly fun. So I'm gonna kill that door. But I don't know if you can even hear it or not. Like, I know the voice recorder amplifies sound for me when I'm recording this versus what it actually captures. So you might not even hear it, but the door, the creaky door, is incredibly just loud here, and it's understandable. As I said, the air is incredibly humid here, so it's prone to rust, and with rust comes creaking. Let me take another sip. I think I've mentioned this before. As I said, I've been doing this for 119 episodes. There is a chance I might have mentioned stuff in passing, but this is when I will dissect them. I am what can be categorized as a city mouse, meaning that I feel much more comfortable in a developed area than I do in bare nature. I know that is not very desirable, it may not be even very good, but it is what I am. Sorry about the noise in the background. As I said, I'm recording this in public. I, I believe you can hear them. Say hello to my friends, everyone. Say hello to my little friends. So, uh, as I was saying, like I feel more comfortable in a developed. I am the kind of guy that's kind of used to certain accommodations. Like when I want something, I want it to be easily accessible in terms of something I'm in services. Like for example, if I need a car service, I need it to be accessible. And the problem with Northern Iran is because of its proximity to nature, it's intentionally less developed. It's not like it's bare nature, like it's not a hiking trail or a remote village. There are a ton of accommodations here, a ton of services, but intentionally not as much and not as dense as the, well, Tehran. To be honest, none of Iran is as dense and developed as Tehran. That is one of the problems with living in a third world country is everything tends to be centralized. And since I was like when I was 5, we moved to Tehran, and I was, well, basically brought up in Tehran. That means that I have been used to a certain level of accommodations that is honestly unreasonable because everything is centralized. Everything I need is in Tehran, including a full, what do you call them, tourist attractions. So, if I want to see something beautiful, I can just go in Tehran. I don't need to leave Tehran. Tehran is the hub for economic activity, it's the hub for artistic activity, it's the hub for sort of commercial activity, it's the hub for any kind of activity, and that means you become spoiled in that level that you have everything within your grasp. Now, that means Tehran is incredibly, and I do mean that, incredibly busy. One of the things I've been loving in the travel is the lack of traffic. Like, I can't tell you how good it feels to get in the car and do not have to sit in it for 8 hours to go like 5 kilometers. Like, lack of traffic is one of the best things, and it is because of the nature of northern Iran. It's full of nature, it's less developed, less cars. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? So, that's another door. That's not the creaking door, that is another door. Another thing is that, and I'm sorry for constantly sniffling, I have seasonal allergies and they tend to act up when I'm around like trees and shit. And as I said, there are lots of trees and shit here. So, as I was saying, I am used to that level of accommodation, and that means I am a little bit spoiled in that regard, and I don't have a very big inkling to go out in nature. I don't see the reason why. I understand it's pretty to look at, and it's pretty to experience. It's pretty, but the trade-off for me is not worth it. You get itchy, you get warm, you sweat a lot, and when you need a shower, the best you have is a fucking bucket and a mop. Not a mop, a bucket and some water. So yeah. Aside from that, don't take it as me like constantly raving and ranting. It's not a rant because I do have a ton of fun with my friends. It's just that I tend to stay indoors, and that may seem like a wasted opportunity. To be honest, okay, let me tell you a little bit a funny anecdote. As I said, was born in Esfahan, and a while ago, we took a family member to Esfahan, and we showed them the big square, the Nakhsh Jahan Square, which is like the central point of Esfahan. If you're going to Isfahan and you're not visiting Nakhshi Jahan, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Oh my god, that came out way harsher than I wanted it to. It's just it's a thing you go to see. The problem with that is I've been seeing it for 26 years. Like every couple of years, I have family in Isfahan, so we're going there, and we're visiting that fucking square. So we took a family member there. He wasn't. It was the first time he was visiting Isfahan, and he saw the Naqsh Jahan Square, and said that I think we were watching it at night, and said I should come around once in daylight, and see it. And I very unceremoniously said, I've been coming to it for 26 years. It always looks the fucking same. And the essence of it, I mean, I was being mean spirited probably then, but the essence of it is true. It always looks the same. Once you go to Naqsh Jahan Square, you've been there. Like the next time you go there, it's gonna look the same. The next time you go there, it's intentionally going to look the same. Now, I don't mean that you shouldn't go there constantly, because, first of all, the city really does need more tourism. But aside from that, you might not get to visit all of it. Like, you might not get to see all of the square. It is a big square. It's the biggest. But I think I know it's the biggest in Middle East. I don't know the rest of the world. I'm not gonna make any claims in that regard. But you might not get to visit all of it in one sitting. So you're going around, and it's incredibly hot. You might not want to go in daylight. So there is merit in going back, but honestly, as I said, I've been going to it for 26 years. It always looks the same. That's the same problem I have with nature. I've been to the beach. It always looks the same. It always looks the fucking same. Like, there is sand, there is the sea, there is the sun. Why do we keep going to the beach? Like, I've been to the jungle before. It's all trees. Why do we keep going back? I know the argument is probably regressive if you enjoy nature, because I don't. There's not a lot of activities I can do. Oh my god, my fucking phone. I know there isn't a lot of activities you can do in nature. I don't do many of them. Like, I'm not a big fan of making meat sticks in the nature. I don't like swimming in the sea. I am too much of a germaphobe for that. Like, actively, seawater makes me feel weird. So in general, that just makes going to the nature only applicable and desirable when I'm with friends. And that has been the case. Like, whenever I'm going to the nature, it's with friends, with family, with people I care about and want to spend time with. But in that case, why not just stay in? Like, that's the companionship is what I'm there for. I don't care about we do it like surrounded by fucking trees or not. This episode will probably make a lot of people hate me. And I don't blame them. Like, I know the view I have is incredibly. As I said, I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled by the city, and I'm spoiled by the accommodations that the city does give me. Nature versus the city. Anyways, I have a minute and a half left. So, first of all, let me do my call to actions. If you listen to this on Spotify, go ahead and you can apparently subscribe. I don't use Spotify that much. But there is a link in the description, and you can send me a voice message on Spotify. And I will play your voice message at the beginning of the next episode, and you might shape a whole episode around your voice message. If you listen to this on YouTube, don't forget to fucking like, comment, and subscribe. That line always kills me a little bit. I've said it before. Call to actions are not fun, but they're necessary. If you listen to this on Castbox, you can also comment there. I have the app. I will get the notification. By the way, another things I don't like about nature, no good internet connection. I am stumped right now. I don't know how I'm going to upload this to publish it in time. I'm recording this at around 11 a.m., so there is at least 13 hours left in the day for me to do that. But it is still, I don't know. It's still not ideal, is what I'm saying. I know the whole idea of nature is like, oh, seclusion. I will see you next week. I talked for way too long here.